Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Monetize Your Mission Mastermind for December 22nd, 2025. All those twos, gotta love it. So, I am going to actually do the presentation today because I made one. And I don't make them all the time, so I thought today's topic would lend itself to that. All I have to do is figure out how to share the screen. Okay, there we go. Half the time wandering all over the place with sharing. Everybody see the screen? And we are recording. All right, so welcome to the Monetize Your Mission Mastermind. Today's topic is visibility traffic and the rule of ones. Clarity over chaos, direction over randomness. This year, we are going to really lean into simplifying everything. This is not a do more content call. This is not a decision-making call. This is just simplicity is the strategy for 2026. Everything anchors to the rule of ones, and where clarity leads, content follows. So the real problem most people have as coaches is that we aren't inconsistent, isn't that we are inconsistent. It's that we're unclear. And when we're unclear about what we're doing, it creating content around it tends to lead to burnout. And if we're really clear about the message that we're putting out, then the content will create momentum for us. So by the end of this call, it's my intention that you'll know what kind of content you're creating, where it belongs, how it leads to income, and do all of this without burning out. So the core distinction between the types of content is you have a content that's designed to build authority around what you're doing, and then you have content that's designed to create income for you. And we were talking a little bit about that before this on the Q&A we were doing. So we are going to circle back around to Marie's question that she posed over there before we end this call. Excuse me. Um, so authority content builds trust, it shapes beliefs, it establishes a perspective, and it creates gravity. So it pulls people towards your offers because they're understanding what you're about and how you can help them. And some of us have offers that require a little bit more setup in order for people to feel like they can just move into taking advantage of the offer because they understand the result that they're going to get from taking us up on the offer versus income content, which is designed to create movement with your audience. It opens conversations, it leads to offers, and it produces cash for us. And it gives people someplace to go and to do something specific, which is to make a purchase. So content can feel heavy when we're trying to do both things in one post, which I think is we're going to find is part of the problem with the offer that was recently created. When you're trying to explain why you're the authority and yet ask them to take action to do something that they don't totally understand. And if you're trying to teach and sell and convince people all at one time, then they get confused and they move on rather than trying to take time to understand it. So no clear rule equals no clear result. And authority makes people stay. Income gives them direction, income content. Hold on just a Okay, so we're going to do a quick self-check here, and we're going to think about the last piece of content that we created. Was it to build trust with your audience, Or was it starting a conversation? Was it asking them to do something? Or was it trying to combine several of these pieces into one post? No right or wrong answers. They don't even have to answer out loud. Just kind of think about it in terms of the way that you're creating content. And then traffic has to do with how to create income. It's how people enter your world, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Often we look at traffic like we just need to have more eyeballs on what we're writing. Um, and that is true, but it's only true if you're sending the eyeballs to a space that's designed to get them to take the action that you want them to take from visiting there. Sometimes we create content just to educate. And while I believe personally, every piece of content you create should have a clear call to action, the next thing you expect the reader to do. Um, if you're if you're sending traffic, and by traffic, I'm talking about paid traffic, and you pay for traffic in a lot of different ways, but you can actually just give someone money to put your content in front of others audiences. You do that in by going on podcasts is one way to do it. You can do solo ads, which is you have somebody with a big email list send your content out, and you can be part of summits. You can grow your own list. Um, and you can put ads up on Facebook and Instagram and Eventbrite and LinkedIn and lots of other places. But when you're paying, however you're paying for traffic, you always want to make sure that you're sending that traffic to a space and content that's designed to get them to move in the direction you wish them to move in, to take the action you want them to take. So there's 5 types of income traffic. There's ads, which we just talked about, where you pay somebody to put your content in front of an audience. There's referrals, the who do you know method of talking to people who are in circles that you're in, where you can present the question, who do you know that could benefit from getting, and you need to be very clear what that result is that you're offering. There's affiliates. You can have people promote your offers and give them a small commission for it. This is an amazing opportunity for people, especially if you have school communities. It's a great way to share different communities and benefit from it in a way that really helps the people that you're referring, but also helps you and it helps the community owner all at the same time. So one too many content. This is the content that we create on social media. We create it in blog posts or website posts, and you can use it in on Substack even. Or articles that you can write and put in article directories. It's it's traffic that is in systems where you're able to be seen by different types of audiences. Sometimes some communities are a little more willing to share your content than others. No names. And then there's the one-on-one conversations where you're just having a conversation with someone and you make them an offer. If you've got something that can help someone, I personally think you're obligated to let them know that the offer exists and give them the opportunity to say yes or no. So you don't need to do all of these. In our rule of one, simplify our process. You just need to pick a couple, one or two that feel really aligned, So traffic should feel relational and not extractive in terms of shouldn't feel like you're trying to convince people to do things. You should feel like you're just like you're offering your friend help because that's really what you're doing. And then they compensate you for it because that's what you do. So the rule of ones, we're going to use this as a stabilizer. And this is the framework, and I'm going to go over it again. You want one target market. You're only marketing to one group of people. Yes, other people can bleed into your target market, but really, if you just focus on that one person that you want to help, other people will find you and be attracted to you. They'll recognize themselves in that one person market that you're creating. You solve one core problem that your target market recognizes, hey, this is a problem for me. I want it solved. You have one authority position in terms of you are the authority in this space. Own it. Don't try to be the authority in a bunch of different threads of what you're doing. You just want to stay in that one space where you get known for doing this one thing really well. You want to have one conversion path for your clients, for your readers, for your listeners. You want to make it as simple as possible. You're always leading to one thing that you have them do. And then you want to have one primary platform that you're using for your marketing. I choose Substack because I really like Substack, but I also use YouTube. I'm working on learning YouTube, but it is not my primary market. And I have Facebook. It's not my primary market. I have a lot of followers over there, but it doesn't feel good to me. And I don't feel like I get the visibility over there that I get with Substack and School. So the reason this works is because it keeps you from creating random content. It protects your energy. It creates momentum because you're simplifying. And when it's just a straight line, it's really easy to move forward on that straight line. When you start adding in, like maybe I should do this and maybe I should do that, rather than stacking your stuff up in a direct line, it it increases the momentum because you can move quickly through the process. It also makes it easier if you're going to do paid advertising anywhere along the line or invest in going on podcasts. Having a simple framework of knowing what the steps are that is your rule of one's process makes doing the marketing so much simpler. It allows you to be creative because you're just working in one space instead of trying to draw in and excuse me, spread your creativity in a bunch of different directions. And it's really about being structured rather than restrictive. It's not that you can't do other things, but other things don't have to be part of your main thing. So platforms have jobs, and not all platforms deserve your original energy. So the platforms that I focus on are basically Substack and School, as you all know. Substack is great for building authority content, and it's a place where people who want to have conversations and who are curious hang out. School is about developing these conversations further and providing some solutions for people. And it's also a delivery platform for delivering your offers. YouTube is a discovery and depth platform where people can find you because YouTube's owned by Google, and Google is the biggest directory in the world. and YouTube's the second biggest one. Substack and School also get indexed in Google. And because you're part of a larger platform with more authority, your content is more likely to get found in Google, also, if you set it up properly. And then using Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and TikTok and some of these other platforms, just so sorry, just for repurposing some of your content that you're creating for Substack and School and YouTube. If a platform doesn't deepen your relationship or lead to revenue, it doesn't get original energy. Um, just kind of a rule of thumb for you. So let's take a moment and think about what platform works really well for you and which ones you want to lean into. And I'm going to open the mic. So I know, Tracy, you use a unique one that not a lot of people have heard about. Do you want to take a minute and talk about it for me, please?
Yeah, my main focus is in Blue Sky, which I transitioned over to when I left Twitter. And I really like it because they make it really, really easy for you to find people that are interested in the same things that you are. You can make lists about, my interest is in folklore. So I have several lists. I have a list about people who are talking about mythology and folklore and people who are mentioning the word folklore. So you can make these lists, and you can also follow what is known as starter packs. So some of the people I know that also love folklore, they made a starter pack of like 100 different other people who are talking about folklore. And you can just go one off, follow them all. And so, as opposed to some of the other platforms, I don't get a lot of political stuff. I don't get a lot of random stuff. I get people that are talking about folklore. And so it was so easy for like other people to find me and for me to find other people through those ways that I have more following there than I do in probably all of my other social media combined.
I love that. And I also know that Substack will automatically post to Blue Sky, which is kind of, it makes it easier to create content in one space and move it into other spaces. Substack also will auto post for you on YouTube, and I think they do it on LinkedIn as well, is the other platform that they'll automatically post for you. So it allows you to um, develop a community in an easy way and then still not have to have 9,000 places that you're posting stuff, because you can just put the content in one space and it goes out. Um, and having like just a couple main places that you focus on helps you to be able to, and then you have the other little satellite spaces, allows you to be present in all the spaces because Lord knows it's important, but it doesn't require you to create individual content for all of the spaces. It allows you to stay focused in the space that's providing the biggest return for your time investment. And we want to have one method to attract clients. So there's lots of different ways that you can have, or different methods that you can have. And some of them that I like to talk about are workshops or master classes, challenges, podcasting, either as a host or a guest or both, summits and collaborations, networking events, webinars, community-led conversation, referral partnerships, and email-based launches. If you pick one method and just get really good at delivering in that method, then maybe you add a second method in there. But really, if you just focus on this is the method I'm using to bring people into my world, this is the door. Everybody goes through the door. It makes all of the rest of this process so much simpler. And you always know what your call to action is going to be whenever you create content. My call to action is I want you to do this because this is the door. Come through the door. Um, and a lot of us do a variety of these things, but if you pick one thing that you're just going to really lean into and do it a bunch of times so that you're really, really good at it, you will find that you'll develop some synergy there and it will create the flywheel effect that we all look for in terms of it'll produce people who are interested. Those people that are interested will become clients, they'll give you referrals, and then more people will discover you, and it just keeps going around in a circle. Repetition does create results. One refined method is much better than doing, I'm going to do one webinar this week, and next month I'm going to do email marketing every day, and the next week I'm going to do podcast interviews. And then people are like, what do you do again? Because they, they aren't able to really hone in on where they can find you and what your message is. And you definitely need to have the same method all the time. And they don't really know where the door is. And the door keeps shifting. Consistency compounds trust, and this year is about getting good at one thing. So write down on your piece of paper or in your mind that one client attraction method that you're going to lean into this year. And this is how it all integrates. Authority builds trust. Income content opens conversations. Traffic enters through the chosen paths. Everything points to one conversion path. One method becomes the engine, and one or two platforms hold the relationships. This is how visibility turns into income without chasing algorithms. And just to reflect back, clarity creates calmness in our environments. Calm creates consistency. Consistency creates income. So your next steps are to book a client acquisition audit, engage inside the school community, and you can bring these decisions into the community if you'd like. And now I'm going to, I had one other thing. I did have one other slide, but the content that I put on it is missing. So this is the mystery that I was joking with Maria about earlier. Um, I am going to offer for the next 10 days, I'm going to open the premium membership in the community up to back down to $111 for the year, because I really want everyone to make the most of 2026. And I really believe that being in our community will help you to do that, especially when you combine it with a client acquisition audit, which will really help you get some direction in terms of figuring out what your rules one are going to be for this year. So I encourage you to go over to school.com u-world-order and sign up. And I also offer affiliate links for people to invite others into our community. So I'm going to ask you the question that I ask you to ask other people. Who do you know that really wants to make 2026 the year that they get visible and attract premium clients into their community? Share your invite people link from the community itself and um, make some money. So I'm going to open this up and let's talk about the platforms you're going to use, the method you're going to use, the one core problem you're going to solve, and one consistent action or your method for implementing all of this. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to cough again. So I am so sorry, guys. I'm holding the intention that next week I'm going to be totally well. Who
And you
wants to
will.
start?
Are you able to? I probably I don't know if you can copy and paste off of that PDF the four elements that you
Oh,
mentioned,
before,
just so we
yeah.
have it in the chat with, so that we can remember what we're answering.
Um, Actually, I might. Mm.
It was the
Yeah,
one
okay.
platform,
Hold
one
on.
method, one problem, right?
One
Yep,
platform, one method, one problem.
and then one more thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the one I'm missing.
That'd be two.
Okay, hold on. I'm almost there. Ta-da! One platform, one method, one core problem, and one consistent call to action.
Hmm.
Who wants to start? I'll call on people.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know
I
I
can, I
will.
can start. I can start because we were starting and kind of like from the last conversation. So
Please start.
one platform. It's cool.
Okay.
Because that was always my first thing, and then Substock is just is my outlet. Now, one method is like we're going back to what I was saying before. My method is the Style Your Soul, which is image and identity coaching. The offer that I put out is just plain and simple, basic personal styling.
It's
So what should
it's
I go for?
okay. So your one platform is school. Your one
Yes.
method is that you provide coaching. Actually, your one method is I would lean towards having a consult with people. That would be the method. Or you could do workshops. That's the method. It's
Okay,
the
okay.
thing you lead people to. The core problem you solve for people is how to clothe their bodies in a way that their soul craves to be cradled.
Yes. Yes.
And your one consistent call to action is book a consult. It doesn't matter if you charge them for the consult, but book a consult.
Okay.
And you're going to get this one small result from the consult, which, if you decide later you just want to do workshops, do it as a workshop. But this one small result,
Okay.
when we were talking about, Zoom, everybody has to go on Zoom. Knowing how to, what's the best method for Zoom presentations. So you don't
Mhm.
have to overthink what you're going to wear to work
Okay.
or something along those lines. Make it simple, make it accessible, and then have your VIP school community option as an upgrade that you offer to them from the consult. And then I would send them an email that has, this is what we talked about. Here's the copy of a link to download the recording.
Mhm.
And don't forget to join our school community. And this is the VIP offer. I'm going to make you a special whatever for the next 5 days. Give them some immediacy time frame to take
Mhm.
advantage of a special with you
Okay.
or not.
Pardon my ignorance. What's the difference between a masterclass and a webinar? Aren't they both done online?
Yeah, they're both done online. A
Okay.
master class is more in depth, whereas a webinar is specifically designed to sell the next step.
Okay, I get it. Okay. Okay.
So your master class would be the VIP option in your school community,
Mm-hmm.
and a webinar would be something that you do however often you decide to do it, and you advertise to bring people into it,
Okay. But
like
so the master
Eventbrite or
class will be the paid one because they will get a proper class. And the webinar, it will be with the purpose, like you said, just brush up on the topic and then send them somewhere else.
yeah, you
Okay.
you you want the the webinar or workshop is
Mm-hmm.
what they're often called, gives them the framework of why. It answers the question why that leads to them paying for the how, why they need to implement this stuff. Come join our school community as a premium member and find out how,
Okay.
or give them one little win along the way. And then in the workshop, that you can't give people a master class in an hour that covers all of the stuff. I mean, nobody
Mhm.
expects that. And if they get enough of a win in the master class, then they're like, yeah, I want to have a conversation with you. And I would lead them to the consult, the paid consult from your workshops. So you have a
Okay.
workshop that you advertise to get people into, and then you have the consult, and then you get them into your paid membership. Does that sound
Okay.
simple and straightforward?
It it does make sense. So you wouldn't have them go into the school community first.
Not necessarily. You will get people in your school community, and from your school community, encourage them to come to your master class, and have them invite friends. Who do you know that would be interested in this? That we're having the master
Okay.
class on this day.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
And maybe one of these days I will have uh one of these Monetize Your Mission Masterminds. We'll talk about how to set up a workshop, how to create the slides and set it up so that it leads naturally into take this call, take this next action step.
Okay.
Okay.
That is also a good idea. But so if this, for me, this helps me on the big picture, on the great scale of things. Um, it's just the offer. It's just the offer.
Your offer just needs to be come to my come book a consult with me. It's going to cost you 62 pounds. This is the result you're going to get. We're not going to talk about all the other things that you might going to get, but you're going to get this one result that people really want, how to show up on Zoom.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Understood. Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, Laura's. Laura. I always want to call
Hello.
you Laura's.
I know, because the way Zoom presents me. Yeah.
So Jill, I'm curious. I know it's the rule of one, so I don't want to break the rule of ones, but can you do two sequences of this: one platform, one method, one core problem, one consistency CTA? So what I'm kind of thinking, especially if we have a community, like Maria was just speaking, or myself, or many of the others on
Yeah,
the
everybody
call.
else here? Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. So the one platform, let's say we're off of school, we're talking about getting people onto school could that be the first consistent CTA so that when we're outside either Substack, for me, it's Facebook right now, that would be the one platform. And then whatever method, either maybe we've got a free course that we offer, we've got a workshop that we do, one core problem that our community solves. So that invitation to then join the community. But then we've got another set of these. One platform is now the school community. One method is whatever we're trying to help them in that school community. The core problem that our paid offer, the paid tiers or the audit would solve, leading then to that call to action. Does that
They're
totally
actually
overcomplicate it?
Yes, because it's
Okay.
all the same thing. You're solving one problem. It's helping coaches figure out how to do what they want to do, how to get their message out in a way that gets people to take action with them.
Mhm.
Would that sound
Yeah, in a nutshell, yeah.
okay? And so all of your offers over on school, they're around that. You do offer already, probably weekly, I think, some sort of a container for um, interacting with your community.
Mhm.
You do some workshops, you do some work-alongs. You have some things that you're already, those are methods of pulling reasons for people to come and interact with you.
Right.
And in your case, they have to join your community in order to interact on those platforms with you. Or you could pull them off and do it on Zoom like I do here.
Mhm.
Like you don't have to be part of my community to be part of the mastermind.
Right. Yeah. Same.
But this is one of the things that I use as a method for introducing people to my world and what I do to help people. So it's really one platform school, one method. Your either your mastermind or your work along or whatever it is that is that thing that you tell people every week, come join us here, come do this with us. That's your one method. And then your one core problem is we help coaches XYZ. And then your consistent call to action is, yeah, join our community. Come to this whatever the workshop is or the work along.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense for you. You've got the school community. Where would you say Substack plays the
Substack
part in
is
the
just
core?
where I talk about it's marketing. And marketing isn't the same as the problem solving piece.
Okay.
Like it's like Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever. You're creating content that talks about, why people should come join you in whatever that thing is that your one method is. Come take
Gotcha.
advantage of
Yeah.
my one method. Everything points to the one method.
So would Jason's method really be his events that he holds in his calendar? I mean, like all the
Yeah.
workshops, because
Yeah.
for the little bit that I've been in there, like that's where it seems like
Mhm.
all the teaching, if you will, happens.
Yep. It's the introduction into your world. And for some people it works better as a consult one-on-one. And for other people who have an established process for holding either a workshop or a networking event or um, it's just a space for people to learn more about you and what you're doing, to maybe have a deeper conversation with you or join your community or take advantage of your offers that you have in the community. It's not that you only have one offer. It's that all of your offers are underneath this umbrella of this one core problem that you solve. There's little micro problems that get solved along the way that lead to the big solution.
I think
People aren't going to join your community tomorrow and then the next day expect to be experts, right? It's the
so
whole journey.
I think I have a general idea of like our assignment. I think where I'm getting a little tripped up is
Mhm.
the difference. I mean, there's lots of words to describe different things. So I hear method, offer, but also like framework. Are you putting all of those kind of in the same bucket? Or is your method different than your offer, which is different than your framework, if that makes any sense?
Yes, and the framework is just about the rule of ones. So try not to like connect that to what we're talking about.
Okay.
So we're really only talking about one platform that you focus on, one method, either a workshop, a consult, email marketing, advertising. I mean, some people, that's all they do is they run ads on Facebook and they sell stuff. It's a marketing method. So so one marketing method, one core problem that you solve. You have to be really clear about what that thing is that you're offering people,
Mhm.
that problem you're solving. And then you just have one call to action. Everybody comes and joins your community to take part in your workshop. Everybody, or not and, but or everybody does one consult with you. It can be free or paid. That's the entry point. It's just like you just want to have one door for people to walk through into your store. Does that make more
So,
sense?
yeah. Jason, are you done? I don't want to like cut you off because I feel like I
No,
jumped in.
take over the space, Lara. It's all yours. No, I'm good.
So for the school launch lab, my platform would be school.
Mhm.
My method is really providing, and this is where I'm getting stuck because my method is providing content in the classroom as well. Well, let me go back. My platform is school. The problem that I solve is helping new or struggling school owners go from stuck small communities to clarity and growing their community.
Mhm.
The method I do that is by providing content in my community chat, like information there,
Mhm.
my classroom, which has some mini courses, and then my guest speakers who bring in their knowledge on other topics that relate to school. My
So basically you do workshops.
okay,
You point people towards your community so that they can take advantage of the workshops that are being held there
okay.
every month or every
My
week or
method is workshops. That
Mhm.
yes, that works. I get that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then my consistent call to action is to join my school community, go through the 5-day school, launch your school in 5 days.
No, you don't, tell them that.
Oh, just join
Don't tell
school.
them they have to work.
Okay, just join school.
You destroy the illusion that the magic's gonna happen. Just join the school, come to the workshop.
Okay,
This week, the workshop's on this. Every whatever day it is, so that people understand there's consistency in your thing.
yeah.
It's like this is when it happens, and yes, we have a replay. It will be posted in our community. Join our community. Join our community. I think Jason actually only allows the replays for people who are premium members.
That's what we're working towards.
Yeah, that's
So
what I do
that,
as well.
yeah, that's a really good segue in there. So you can either come live or you can become a premium member, and it's a good reason to become a premium member is to, get all this extra training that you're pulling together, which is it's a very valuable thing.
Okay, so my platform is school. My method is workshops. My problem is new or stuck or struggling, I should say, new or struggling school owners, helping them get from stuck to clarity, and grow their community. And my call to action is join school.
I would phrase it more around like build momentum,
Okay.
because they're stuck because they can't build momentum.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tracy?
Okay, so my platform is school. The one core problem is that people desire to have more folklore and magic in their life than they do currently. My method, actually, I'm a little torn. I guess I'm leaning toward a weekly workshop.
Yeah,
And
I like
then
it.
the consistent call to action would be join school, I guess. You know?
Come to my workshop.
Yeah.
Come to my workshop. Come to my workshop. Must join school. Come to my workshop. And in your school community, you can talk about all the stuff, but just come to my workshop.
Mhm.
Learn how to more magic in your life. Share your experiences in a safe space. All right, Christina, you're up. What you got, girlfriend?
Okay, so my platform is school because I like that a whole lot better than Facebook. Facebook is just, I'll still post on Facebook, but still. My one method I'm thinking is workshops. Um, and my core problem is helping women live healthier lives with healthy habits.
Build healthy habits.
Build healthy habits. Writing that down. And my call to action right now is for people to come join my school
And come to your
and come to my
weekly
my
workshop
weekly workshop.
where they're going to learn a new habit or work on a habit that we've been working on for the month. Can have a habit of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Or designing. There's so many things. You know all the things.
Right. Okay.
Does that feel good to you?
Yes.
Okay.
I wanted to jump in real quick, Jill,
Mhm.
if I may, for Christina and Tracy. It came up when, and it might just be the way that we're phrasing. I think we phrased the core solution, maybe not the core problem. So they want healthier habits. Why do they want healthier habits? So what's that main problem that they're looking at? But also, Tracy, when you mentioned they want folklore and magic in their lives, then it got me thinking, okay, what makes them want that? What are they missing? Are they feeling like life is flat without it? Like they're disconnected from something, that it's overly logical, and I want more magic, something in the realm of that. And maybe you already know kind of those problems that it's like, oh, this is what they're facing. That's why they want to join the community and get the benefit
Mm-hmm.
of the healthy habits, Christina, and then the folklore
Right.
and magic.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
not being able.
I feel
Yeah.
like it's like, yes, you're right that they want more, magic and folklore in their life. I think that if I have to look at a key problem when I'm saying that is the solution that we want, the problem is the time and the effort and the energy that people just don't do it even though they want to, because it's like one more thing. Like I cannot do one more thing. My kids are running around. I've got, this, that, and the other thing to do. And so I think that would be the problem that relates to the solution that you just came up with.
Excellent.
Sometimes if we just ask, so what?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do this. So what?
Mm-hmm.
This is the problem I solve. So that. and then you add the thing that they really need
Mhm.
to experience. Develop healthy habits so that you have more energy and more time with your family.
Mhm.
For Christina, come join our workshops so that you have a space to explore the magic that's already happening in your life, so you don't feel like you're losing your mind.
Mhm.
We all have those things that happen in our lives, and we're just like, I know this happened, and I know everybody else is going to think I'm crazy if I say it out loud. Make sense? Is that
Yeah.
where you were going, Jason?
Yes. And sometimes we have to ask, so what? And I just want to say, you're so good. Jill, thank you so much for the insights and the feedback.
You are so welcome, and thank you so much for joining us, all of you. I just love watching all of these communities grow and evolve and provide such amazing spaces for people to have great experiences. I
Mhm.
really do think that this is changing the world. And my hat's off to all you guys for stepping up and being the change you want to seek. Have a very wonderful holiday, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds
You
God
good.
too.
willing and the
Thank
creek
you.
don't rise.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.